Elite Facts presents.
There's no way these 12 medical treatments would be used today.
12.
Dead mouse paste. Yeah, you heard that right. Our first cure is a paste made out of a dead mouse. You might wonder who on earth would put dead mouse paste in their mouth. And the answer would be the ancient Egyptians. They believed that mashing up mice and then applying the paste to a sore tooth would soothe that toothache away. Some more people who didn't mind using dead mice as medical aids were the English Elizabethans. In fact, they were also quite partial to fried mouse and mouse pie for their dinner. They also believed that a cure for warts was to cut a dead mouse down the middle and then rub the dead mouse on the warts. And that's not all. They also used mice as a treatment for smallpox, measles, and whooping cough. Oh, and to help reduce bedwetting.
11.
Crocodile dung. Believe it or not, crocodile waste was used in ancient Egypt as a form of contraception. The croc poo would be left to dry up before being put inside the woman's vagina. As the temperature of her body warmed up the waste, making it soft, it would create a barrier inside of her that would supposedly keep all the sperm from getting to where they wanted to go. Other methods of contraception were lemons, cotton, tree sap, wool, and even elephant droppings.
10.
Fighting skin cancer with cryotherapy. Although cryogenic sounds like something from a science fiction movie, the technique of using very low temperature to cure diseases is being trialed as we speak, particularly in the fight against skin cancer. Liquid nitrogen is applied to the skin via a cotton swab, and the cancerous cells are effectively freeze-burned off. Because the skin is destroyed, it cannot be used for biopsy, and the area becomes blistered and painful after the treatment. It's also likely to scar. But this is neither here nor there when you're talking about a successful cancer treatment.
9.
Medicinal leeches. You've probably all heard that leeches were a staple choice for medieval doctors when it came to removing the bad blood from patients. Many illnesses were blamed on bad blood, and it was believed that if this blood was taken out of the equation, the patient would recover. Believe it or not, leeches are actually still used in medicine today, most predominantly during reconstructive surgery, where they create a vacuum to aid the circulation of the blood and boost the blood flow into parts of the body that have been attached or altered.
8.
Distraction osteogenesis. During the 1950s, Gavril Lazarov, a doctor from the Soviet Union, was the first to use distraction osteogenesis to alter the length of people's bones. It was a technique that involved fracturing the outside layer of bone before using metal braces to stretch the bone apart. This would cause new bone to grow from the fractures, filling the gaps in, when the stretching would begin again in order to promote further growth. Distraction osteogenesis was primarily used to remedy bone defects which occurred at birth, but it wasn't unheard of for people to undergo the process in order to just gain an inch or two.
7.
Tiger phallus soup. Chinese medicine is known for its unusual ingredients. Some popular remedies include using snakes which have been stewed in rice wine to improve your vitality, and snacking on the paw of a bear in order to increase your strength. The Chinese aren't squeamish about using every part of the animal in their medicines either. Believe it or not, tiger penis is a popular soup ingredient thought to make a man more virile. In 1987, it became illegal to trade tiger parts, but poaching remains a problem, and the World Wildlife Fund estimates that there are fewer than 3,200 wild tigers left, and they're all using their paws to cover their crotches.
6.
Chloroform. Okay, now if a doctor told me to take some chloroform to help me with any illness in this day and age, I'd call the police on him. But this method of medicine was fairly common back in the 19th century. Chloroform was the original anesthetic. First developed back in 1831, before the invention of chloroform, surgery was literally the worst thing ever. Patients were administered the drug through a chloroform-soaked rag and would simply pass out for the surgery. However, its use came with a high rate of complication and death. It was phased out in the 1950s in favor of using safer alternatives.
5.
Emetic. You probably have never heard of Emetic, but it was brutal. An emetic was essentially something fairly toxic and horrible that would induce vomiting. The reason for their use was that vomiting was thought to rid the body of harmful substances that caused illness. Luckily, emetics didn't make it to the 20th century, as they often just killed people instead of making them better. 4. Xeroderma Pigmentosum, or vampire syndrome. The sun is an important source of vitamin D for humans, but we all know that overexposure to the sun damages our skin. There are some people, however, who can't tolerate the sun's rays at all and must not allow their skin to be exposed to the sunlight, or else they'll become dangerously burnt and risk their skin breaking down completely. The condition Xeroderma Pigmentosum affects 1 in every million people, and sufferers have an extremely elevated chance of developing skin cancer. It's caused by a problem in the repair enzymes of those afflicted. These enzymes are used to fix the damage caused by UV rays, and when they don't work correctly, the UV damage gets worse and worse. Treatment is available, but for almost everyone with the condition, the advice is to just avoid sunlight completely, not unlike vampires.
3,
Foreign accent syndrome. The accent we speak with generally tells people where we come from. Some people are really good at putting on different accents, others are not so good. But imagine having a condition that makes you speak in an accent that's not your own. It could be from an area that you've never even been to, or it could be a mixture of different accents. You can even adopt a range of accents and swap between them without being able to control yourself. This phenomenon often follows a brain injury or stroke and actually affects the way the sufferer uses their tongue. So it's not just a case of putting on an accent. The only way of remedying the symptom is to engage in speech therapy in order to effectively learn how to speak again.
2,
Powder of sympathy. Okay, now we know this sounds like some sort of a weird potion used back in the medieval era or something along those lines, but this was a commonly used treatment many years ago. Back in the 17th century, medicine was pretty damn insane. I mean, you had treatments such as leeches, mice, woodlouse, spider webs, and ferrets, just to name a few. However, nothing seems wackier than Sir Kenelm Digby's powder of sympathy. But what exactly is the powder of sympathy? Well, the powder was intended as a treatment for a very specific injury, rapier wounds. The ingredients in this strange concoction included the likes of earthworms, pig's brains, iron oxide or rust, and bits of mummified corpses ground into a powder. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? It's been said that this powder was applied not to the wound itself, but to the offending weapon. Digby thought that the strange concoction would somehow encourage the wound itself to heal via a process called sympathetic magic. So essentially, it's voodoo. What madman came up with this idea?
1,
Cocaine. Hey kids, is heroin not doing the trick anymore? Try cocaine. Don't worry, it's legal. You can buy it from either your local chemist or Dirty Joe on the street corner. It's perfectly safe. If you couldn't tell, that was all sarcasm. Years ago, cocaine began as a prescription painkiller and general cure-all for what ails you. Freud allegedly prescribed cocaine to his patients quite liberally. However, doctors soon realized just how addictive the substance really was and banned it. And that's our list. Did we leave any out? Let us know in the comments below. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button to be notified when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.